Hi there, this is a quick look at this Fitbit Versa 4 smartwatch that I'm reviewing for amazon.co.uk. You get two different length straps, charging cable and the watch itself. You can change the straps out by pushing this little button here at the back, and they just pop out like that. And new straps simply click in. You can choose to have it on an always on display. Sorry, I'll just get this on. So then the strap goes through that hole, and then the excess of the strap just slides in behind like that. So you have your watch face there, which you can choose to have always on and max brightness, but that will drain your battery quite a bit. There's lots of different watch faces that you can choose from, but the one real downside of this watch compared to the Versa 3 is that it doesn't support any third-party apps, which is a real shame because that means that you have no music on it, and it slightly renders it a little bit useless for me then, not being able to have any music. But anyway, you can wake this up. So it does have a weather app, and GPS isn't on all of the time, but you can, when you start an exercise, then your GPS does kick in. You can do timers, and it has a sleep tracker on it as well, and it can also measure your SpO2 levels whilst you're sleeping. There isn't any way to dial in to check your SpO2 level on the watch all of the time, unless you download one of the watch faces which has the SpO2 level on it. You can't access that data any other way in the watch that I've been able to find. You also have your heart rate there, and your day's activities. It's a bit early in the day for me to have gone out for a walk yet. So yeah, that's about it for the actual features on the watch. You can access Alexa by tapping the physical button on the side. You can set that to other things as well, but I've got it set to Alexa, so do that. Alexa, turn off the workshop lights. Oh, they're off already. Let's try again. Oh, come on. Alexa, turn on the workshop lights. Yep, there we go. So Alexa does work. It doesn't have access to Google Assistant, but that's okay because I use Alexa for everything anyway. It's a bit of a shame also that, you just go back to the normal watch face. If you swipe up, then you can get to your notifications. It's a bit of a shame. You have to enable WhatsApp as a third-party app to be able to get notifications from that. You can also get notifications from text messages, but if you go into one of the notifications, you can't reply to any of the WhatsApp messages, and I think you can only do canned responses for text messages as well. You can accept a call on the watch, but you can't take a call, so you have to then transfer over to your phone to be able to talk to someone, and you can't reply to messages on iOS, which is on, so iPhones, which is what I'm on. I think you might be able to on an Android, but the real downside is that you can't access third-party apps, so that means that you can't have any music on your watch, and you essentially are going to have to take your phone out for a run, which kind of just turns it into a fitness tracker and not really a smartwatch. So they've kind of dumbed it down quite a lot compared to the Versa 3, and I'm a little bit disappointed, to be honest. For 200 quid, it's a pretty premium price. The battery life's good. It's rated for 6 days, but with the screen always on, I don't think I'm going to get that. Yeah, but pretty disappointed actually, to be fair. Anyway, thanks for having a look.
Ich kann nur sagen, auch wenn ich jetzt in der Klemme stecke, dass ich